Proverbs chapter 7. My son, keep my words, and treasure my commands within you. Keep my commands and live, and my law as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding your nearest kin, that they may keep you from the immoral woman, from the seductress who flatters with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my lattice, and saw among the simple, I perceived among the youths a young man devoid of understanding, passing along the street corner near her corner. And he took the path to her house, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And there a woman met him, with the attire of a harlot, and a crafty heart. She was loud and rebellious, her feet would not stay at home. At times she was outside, at times in the open square, lurking in every corner. So she caught him and kissed him. With an impudent face she said to him, I have peace offerings with me. Today I have paid my vows. So I came out to meet you, diligently to seek your face, and I have found you. I have spread my bed with tapestry, colored coverings of Egyptian linen. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until morning. Let us delight ourselves with love. For my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He has taken a bag of money with him and will come home on the appointed day. With her enticing speech, she caused him to yield. With her flattering lips, she seduced him. Immediately he went after her as an ox goes to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till an arrow stuck his liver, as a bird hastens to the snare. He did not know it would cost his life. Now therefore listen to me, my children. Pay attention to the words of my mouth. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not stray into her paths. For she has cast down many wounded, and all who were slain by her were strong men. Her house is the way to hell, descending to the chambers of death. Proverbs chapter 7, verses 6 through 8 says, For at the window of my house I looked through my lattice, and saw among the simple, I perceived among the youths a young man devoid of understanding, passing along the street near her corner, and he took the path to her house. Now, these verses are all leading up to this young man following a harlot, and what the harlot does, and that relationship, and how it pans out, kind of the story. But I think many times we look at this and we talk about the harlot, but I'm going to just come short of that just a little bit. And I don't want to look at the harlot today. Instead, I want to look at the harlot's follower. I want us to notice what it's saying about the harlot's follower. Notice it says that how this person is described, he is simple. Now, this doesn't mean that he's plain or ordinary. What it's connecting us to and understanding is that he is naive, that he is ignorant. And something else is going on here. He is purposeless. He doesn't have goals that he has set aside to accomplish. Instead, he's just kind of going with the flow. He's young, so he's probably in his late teens or early 20s. And he is devoid of understanding. Now, this means that he lacks wisdom. He is not considering what might happen or what will become of the choices that he has made. Instead, he's just, like I said, he's just going with the flow. He hasn't decided in advance what he wants to do with his life. Instead, he might be out there trying to, quote unquote, find himself, to just seek whatever pleasure that he can and figure out what he really wants out of life, instead of setting aside and saying, what does God want for my life? And thinking about what kind of goals he can set that would honor his Heavenly Father. Instead, he just looks for whatever he can get out of the situation. Well, this man has nothing constructive to do. He fills his time with fleeting wants and desires. And he spends his time just doing whatever it is he wants. And you kind of think of that saying, idle hands are the devil's workshop. He's kind of living that out right now. And I want us to think about the example of this young man. I want us to seek wisdom. I want us to consider seeking to follow God in obedience and working to do good for his own glory. I once read a phrase on on a plaque that said, "Dreams don't work unless you do." I think it's a good reminder for ourselves. We need to set ourselves some goals and look at life and not just aimlessly kind of travel down the river. Many times we get caught up. We don't really have a purpose that much, so we sit down in front of the TV and we binge watch stuff, and we play video games until well beyond our heart's desire. And we just get caught up in all the things of this day and all the things of this world that we could get caught up in, instead of focusing and saying, what is my life worth? What do I want to do with my life? What kind of good can come from my life? And setting some goals and starting to work through them. Don't get caught up in all of the different things of this life that can pull you down or that can pull you from the left or to the right. Instead, set some goals and have a desire to follow God in the way that He wants you to go, instead of just aimlessly wandering around getting into trouble. Wanderously aiming around gets you nowhere. In fact, it gets you further back than nowhere. Sometimes it can totally wreck your life. So I would challenge you today, set some goals for yourself. Look at how you can be doing good in the lives of others. Well, thank you again for joining me today as we've studied through Proverbs chapter 7. I hope and pray you'll come back tomorrow as we get into Proverbs chapter 8. Have a great day, and God bless.